Hello everybody and welcome to this new Q&A video. It's actually the second time I do this type of video. I really love to do the first one when I was in India. So I decided to do a second one here in Australia. So gonna be mainly about this country. Because actually I didn't vlog my adventure in Australia. I was mainly here for work. I of course explore a little bit too, but was mainly working, to be honest. So I use this video as a way to answer your questions and to tell you a little bit more about my travel in Australia and maybe inspire you to coming in this beautiful country too. I'm also a little bit on a rush because I need to pack everything today. I'm actually leaving tomorrow for Fiji. I haven't prepared anything, so it's gonna be just very natural. So this here is my bag. I actually need to sort everything because I'm taking off tomorrow. I'm leaving Australia after 2 years here. Alright, so let's go to this Q&A video. I'm gonna answer you the question you have asked me about Australia on my Instagram profile. So the first question I got, and probably one of the main questions actually, is what type of visa I have here in Australia. So probably you already heard of working holiday visa. It's a special visa that some country, depending on the agreement they have between each other, can have to go for 1 year or more if you extend it, to travel in a country, and you have the options of working to finance your travel. Sadly, not all the countries around the world have it, and I cannot check for every country you are. But I can say that the working holiday visa for Australia, most European countries have it. Also United States, Argentina, Peru, Chile, I know China too, Vietnam, Thailand. You can spend 1 year just traveling if you have the finance too, but it's a pretty expensive country, so you might want to work. If you work and want to extend for a second year, you need to do at least 3 months of farm job, 88 days. That's what I did for my first year. I went working on avocado farm in Western Australia and cherry farm and strawberry farm in Tasmania. So I could extend for a second year, and here is actually the end of my second year. If you wanna extend for third years, that's the maximum you can get, you have to do 6 months of farm job, which I didn't do. So that's a very great visa and a good opportunity if you want to travel in a country. Also, the salary here are quite good, so it's always a good option to come here to make an income. Forget this visa, there is also some restrictions, and this depends entirely of the country you come from. But for most of them, you cannot get this visa if you pass 30. Only French people can get it until 35. Don't ask me why French people, I have no idea. It's agreement between governments. I know they're also sometimes asking you to have a certain amount of money at the beginning. I know that from some Latin country they ask for English test, but I'm not quite sure about that. So if you are Latino, let me know in the comments if this is right or not. But anyway, this is actually a super opportunity when you're young to travel. If you don't have so many money, you can work in the country and save quite a good of money. It's actually my second working holiday visa. I did my first one in Mexico, but I didn't really work much there. I just spent my years enjoying this beautiful country. I have to say as well that this visa is quite famous in Australia. I met a lot, but really a lot of backpackers, especially French and Italian. That's a big part of the backpackers. So if you come here on a working holiday visa, no worry, you won't be alone. Okay, the second question, we will stay off talking about work in Australia. It's, do you have any tips for getting a job in Australia, please? So I will say it's entirely depend of everybody because everybody have a different experience in Australia. Some people struggle a lot to find a job here, some don't. I'm somewhere in the middle. Sometimes I struggle a bit, but I didn't struggle that much, to be honest. It was pretty simple if you know where to looking for. It might be a little bit stressful at the beginning because Australia is expensive and your budget will go down very fast if you don't have a job, but you will make the things work out, I'm sure about this. My first recommendation, and I know it's a little bit weird, is to stay in a hostel. Why? Because I saw so many people coming in Australia, don't really want to go out of their comfort zone. They take a share house, an apartment, depending on the money you have, and they're just looking for a job on their own, and they actually stay alone, don't really connect with other people, don't really meet other people, which make you chance to find a job very low. Because you have to understand that in Australia there is a lot of backpackers and a lot of concurrents. That's why having contact is very important. So of course you can apply on the website. There is a platform called Seek, but 90% of the case they don't reply to you. You can also hang around with your resume on hand, but that's not the best option neither, because most of the places receive ton of resume every day. Some specific farm job like grain farm or cherry farm, for example, might ask you that you apply on the website first and they usually contact you after. That's usually work for seasonal job because they need a big amount of people, so you might have more chance on it. But I would recommend, if you apply on a website, to apply way in advance. For example, grain season is started in December, you have to apply in August. And also why staying in a hostel, because in hostel it's full of backpackers and everybody is working or looking for a job. So if you're social, you're gonna talk with people, you're gonna ask them what kind of job they are doing, and somehow you're gonna end up meet someone that might have recommendations for you or that have a positions free in his job, because backpackers going and moving all the time from one job to another, so there is all the time a free opportunity. You just have to be the first to get it. That's actually how I get most of my job in Australia. Just talking with people, getting information about job, getting the contact, and call at the right moment. That's the best tips I can give you to find a job. After, of course, when you will have your job and you want a little bit more privacy, you can take a private room. But at the beginning, take a hostel. So the third question, I actually love this one. How much does it take you to understand Australian language? And by Australian language, I would say Australian accent. That's probably the worst accent I heard in the entire world. I actually struggle a lot, especially when I was working in farm jobs. If you are in a city, that's gonna be alright. People talk pretty well, they don't have a strong accent. But if you go to regional area, that's become really difficult. I was working in this avocado farm, and one of my supervisor, he started asking me something and I couldn't understand anything of what he was saying. He was talking fast with a very thick Australian accent. So I make him repeat once, couldn't understand. I make him repeat twice, couldn't understand. I make him repeat a third time, and every time he didn't change anything he was saying, he was still speaking at the same speed with this same thick Australian accent I couldn't understand. And at the end, he just get pissed off and he screamed at me and told me, "Boy, you don't understand basic English." I didn't say anything because he was my supervisor, but I was like, man, that's not fucking English. I know my English is not perfect, but it's good enough to be able to travel and work in a country and to understand everything. And this, I'm sorry, that's not English to me. So no worry, actually, doesn't matter if your English is good or not. My English is good and I still don't understand them. So, but actually, it's not probably your case if you watch this video in English, but I will still recommend to come in Australia with some base in English. Because I saw some people, especially French usually, that came in Australia without speaking a word of English, and they struggle a lot. Like some of them cannot find a job. Like if you don't speak anything, that will be very complicated. So if you still want to come, maybe take some course when you arrive, and don't hesitate to mix yourself with people, to meet people, force you to talk. I saw people that didn't speak English, didn't even wanted to try to go out of their comfort zone. I know it's scary when you don't talk the language. I know you might be shy, but please go out, do the step, go out of your comfort zone. Nobody gonna eat you. We all start from somewhere. We all start not speaking English. So we have all to learn. So we know what it is. Nobody gonna judge you, and everybody gonna be like actually really kind, and we're gonna help you. We're nice. Backpackers is cool. Alright. I actually want to show you my friend have the cutest dog ever. Look at this beauty. This is Peach, and she's so beautiful. You want to be on the video? You want to be on the video? Oh, you want to be on the video? Aren't you beautiful? Oh. She's a mix between a poodle and a golden retriever, so it's like basically a giant poodle. And this is the first time here in Australia I see this type of dog. Actually in Sydney, they love poodle. They all have poodle everywhere. There's poodle everywhere in the street. It's Poodle City. And some of them are really, really tall. Oh my electronic. Alright, the next question is, what is something you didn't get to do in Australia that you would like to do if you had more time, more money? I actually want some days to come back in Australia with more money and more time to do a proper road trip all around Australia, and especially on the northern area, which is the most beautiful part of Australia. This is where you have all the red ground, desert, and the red rock everywhere, the typical Australian landscape that you can find of a postal card. But to go there, you need a proper vehicle, which will be more like a 4x4. I was thinking about a van as well, because the van life in Australia can be a pretty good adventure. But if you wanna go off-road and seeing more amazing landscape, you will need a 4x4, which obviously costs more, especially a setup 4x4 with a rooftop tent and all the camping equipment you will need in Australia to camp in a while. It's actually one of the most amazing countries for camping in a while. But unfortunately, this is also a very expensive country, and buying a car here is pretty expensive. I mean, if you want a good car, because obviously most of the backpackers arrive here, try to buy the cheapest cars possible, and they end up with a lot of problems, a lot of things to fix in the car, a lot of reparations to do, a lot of breakdown as well, and they end up spending so much money. So maybe it's better to spend a little bit more at the beginning and buy something good that won't break down. But I kind of regret to never had my own car so I could do my own road trip, maybe going all around Australia alone, or maybe with someone. Next question. I actually don't pack anything since I'm talking to you. Can't really do two things in the same time. What is the most memorable moment for you during your travel in Australia? If we talk about pure travel, I will say it was this moment when I was on a road trip on the southern coast of Australia. I was camping by a beach, and the morning was pretty early. I just opened my tent and wake up, and I saw dolphin in the bay I was sleeping on. Then I went to have a little swim in the water, but I wasn't where the dolphin was. I was like here, the dolphin was like very far in the bay. And while I was doing that, they actually came straight to me. I don't know if they heard me or maybe, and they directly came to me. So I actually stayed pretty much on the shore, and they just passed so close to me. And it's actually the first time I see dolphin. I didn't go to swim with them because they were all family and there was baby dolphin. Can be maybe pretty dangerous, I don't know, and I didn't want them to bother them as well. I just stayed there watching them, filming them actually, and it was just a magical moment. But if we talk about backpackers experience, the best moment I had in Australia was when I was in Perth. I was in a little town called Fremantle in a very nice hostel, and I met this group of French backpackers. The moment I share with them, the party we did together, that's probably the most memorable moment. That was my highlight of Australia. It was the people I met. They become a family to me. We are still very close today. And after years being far from my family, it also felt really nice to me. So for me, that's the best moment I had in Australia was the moment I shared with them. And I come with the opposite question actually. Tell me the worst thing that happened for you in Australia. I didn't really had bad things happen to me in Australia. It was mostly annoying things and was mostly related to work. When you work in Australia, you're not on a really safe contract, and they call it casual contract. That means they hire you, and if you don't want to work with them, you can actually leave from one day to another. But they can also fire you from one day to another, and this is mostly what happened. My first job was a job as a tree planter, and my boss, when I started, told me that I would have work for 3 months. But just after 1.5 months, from one day to another, I remember it was a Friday, they told me, you actually, Sevan, you don't work on Monday because there is not enough tree to plant. All right, but do I work on Tuesday? I said, yeah, I'm gonna keep you informed. So actually Monday arrived and they told me, actually for tomorrow there is still enough tree to plant, so I'm gonna keep you informed for the rest of the week. And then Thursday and Friday and next Monday, and they keep like not telling me the truth, you know? Maybe next week, maybe next day, 1.5 weeks probably, I start to understand that I will never work for them again. So that was my first experience with that kind of behavior in Australia that happened a lot after that. People don't really fire you here. They never tell you. They always find excuses or stuff, and they always tell you at the last moment from one day to another, which make the things really hard to manage when you are backpackers, when you live on your savings, and when you quickly have to find another job after that, otherwise you will lose everything. I actually lost a lot of money just because of that. So this is probably the worst that happened to me, but it happened to every backpackers here. It pissed me off all the time. It actually gets me crazy sometimes. All right, actually my laundry should be ready. All right, I'll go to have a look. Amazing, everything's clean. Oof. I'm just gonna put everything here. All right, next question, I already talked a little bit about that, is why do you always stay in hostel instead of getting an apartment? So first, as I said, hostel is a very great place to meet people and get in contact and find a job. It's also an amazing place for social aspects. You meet friends and sometimes very strong friendship that you're gonna keep with you forever. And actually for the people that say, yeah, but it must be really hard to sleep in an 8-bed dorms, 10 or 12-bed dorm sometimes. Actually, you get used to it. You get used to it, you get used to share your space. Of course, in a very long term, you start to get tired. I'm actually really happy I'm in an apartment right now. You will meet people that will be mental support for you when you're far from your family. If I can talk a little bit more about hostel in Australia compared to other hostels in the rest of the world, they are not really good. Actually, I'm gonna be true, they are terrible. They are really terrible. I've been to Asia, I've been to South America. They have amazing hostel. Like, you pay first very cheap and you have amazing places with common area you can share with people, with sometimes beautiful kitchen, breakfast included, a nice pool as well sometimes. And the rooms are way better. They have curtain on the bed that can give you a little bit of privacy. It's actually so important. It doesn't cost that much for a hostel to do that, and it's changed the whole experience you will have in a hostel, which Australia don't do. It seems a little bit like Australia don't really care about their hostel. I would say, Australian people, please, if you work in a hostel, maybe you own one, at least put curtain on the bed. That's the bare minimum for a hostel. Because here you are in a hostel and you have all the backpackers putting sheets all around the bed to cover themselves. Come on, you are a owner of a hostel, you come and you see that. You don't think, oh, maybe I'm gonna put some curtain on the bed to make people feel a little bit better. No, actually most of the place just don't care. Other questions, they're gonna be actually two because they're pretty much the same. The first one is, what's your favorite city in Australia? And the second one is, why you don't live in Sydney? Because yeah, Sydney is my favorite city in Australia. What can I say about this city? It's actually so beautiful. The Bay of Sydney is just magnificent. It's sunny almost 300 days a year. It's very green, you have a lot of park. And actually it doesn't feel like a big city. You have the CBD at the center with the big buildings, but it's a pretty restricted area. All other Sydney are very extended and they are just cute neighborhoods with green parks and little house. They have amazing restaurants everywhere. You can taste food from all over the world in Sydney. People are also so lovely here. They have a very chill life. I just fell in love with Sydney, and when I arrived here, I actually thought maybe I could live here. But why I don't stay here? First, Australia is very far from my home. I'm since 2 years here. I came back just one time in France. That was 24 hours fly. And also too far from my favorite place in the world, which is South America. I actually fall in love with South America a few years ago, and I would say my love for Colombia is stronger. So yeah, I'm continuing my traveling, and if I have to settle somewhere, for now, it's gonna be Colombia. But I don't know, I stay open. Maybe in the future, when I will have enough of Latin America, and I will want something a little bit more easy and chill, I will maybe come back to Sydney. So for terminate this video, I would say that if you think about going to Australia, just do it. If you have the opportunity to get a working holiday visa, do it. Especially during your 20s, it's gonna probably be the best experience of your life. A few years ago, I never considered to come to Australia. It's just when I was traveling to Asia and I was looking for a way to make money because my budget was going very low. So I decided to do this project at first just for money. Nonetheless, I get a pretty good amount of money by working here, but also I get amazing experience. I met beautiful people and I also changed. Those experience gave me so much confidence. It's nice to work, but don't forget to also enjoy the country. They have a lot to offer, beautiful landscape, beautiful wildlife. Go for it. For me, that's the end, and I can hide that I'm a little bit sad to leave this place. But of course, I'm going for a more amazing adventure very soon, so that's helped a lot to get over it. So if you were still hesitating about coming in Australia, just do it. It might be one of the most beautiful experiences of your life. That's for me the end of a chapter, a very beautiful one, and the beginning of a new one. So tomorrow I'm actually taking a flight to Fiji and I'm joining my captain because maybe you know, maybe you don't know, I don't know how much you are following my adventures, but I'm gonna embark on a sailboat and sail the Pacific Oceans from Fiji to Alaska for around 3 months. It's hard to say because it depends on the weather. We're gonna be a crew of 6 people and it's gonna be just another beautiful and amazing experience. And of course, I'm gonna vlog all of that. I know I didn't make much video about Australia, but it's also hard to manage and find the time to edit the video while working. I'm gonna find the time on that boat to share with you more of my adventure. We're gonna go step by step. I'm gonna learn to sail on this boat and I'm gonna show you everything. And it's just gonna be amazing. So stay connected and I can't wait for the next video to show you these expeditions. And I'm gonna finish to pack because I haven't finished at all actually. So I let you here and I'm gonna catch you in the next adventure.